Okay, so I've been thinking about this and I literally cannot sleep. It is 2:43 a.m. I am running on nothing but cold coffee and sheer anxiety, and my brain is just spinning out of control about General Hospital, specifically Britt Westbourne. I've been watching this show since like 2015, and I don't think I've ever been this stressed about a storyline. It's weird, like really weird. The whole thing is just weird, but it's also brilliant. Or maybe it's just torturous. I don't know. Here's what's bugging me. The spoilers for the April 7 episode are pointing to this massive, devastating ultimatum from Ross Cullum, and the psychological implications of it are just... they are tearing me apart. Britt is going without her Huntington's medication, and she's starting to deal with tremors. Tremors! Do you know how terrifying that is for her character? It's not just a physical symptom, it's the manifestation of her absolute worst nightmare coming true in real time. Okay, wait, let me back up. Actually, no. First I should mention the pier. Pier 55. We have to talk about Pier 55 because that is the epicenter of this entire disaster. Cullum smashed Britt's medication vials. He literally crushed her lifeline. Marco Rios, poor, doomed, Marco died trying to get those vials for her. He stole them from the Windermere safe, Cullum caught him, stabbed him to death at the law office, and then tracked Britt down to the pier. And Cullum didn't just threaten Britt, he physically assaulted her. He knocked her out. So she was completely unconscious when the actual shooting happened. She didn't see Rocco Falconeri's sweet, traumatized teenage Rocco pick up that gun and shoot the WSB director in the back to save her and Jason Morgan. She was out cold. So when she wakes up, the narrative is already entirely out of her control. Jason, in his infinite, stoic, sometimes infuriatingly martyr-like wisdom, tells Britt to tell the cops that he pulled the trigger. What was I saying? Oh, right, the ultimatum. So Cullum is waking up, or he is awake, whatever. The point is, Cullum survived the surgery that Lucas Jones, Marco's grieving boyfriend, which is a whole other layer of messed up irony, performed on him. And now Cullum is in the ICU, and he is going to use Britt's deepest, darkest biological terror against her. The spoilers say Cullum is going to throw an ultimatum at Britt. He will not surrender any more of her Huntington's medication until she reveals who actually shot him. He knows Jason didn't do it. I mean, Cullum was staring right at Jason when he got shot in the back. You don't get shot in the back by the guy standing directly in front of you. Cullum isn't stupid. He's a highly trained, deeply corrupt WSB agent. He knows Jason is covering for someone, and he assumes Britt is in on it. But then again, that doesn't explain why Cullum thinks Britt actually knows the truth. I mean, not exactly, but kind of. Cullum probably figures that even if Britt was unconscious during the actual gunshot, Jason would have told her why he's throwing his life away. Because who wouldn't? But Jason didn't. Jason kept Rocco's name completely out of it to protect the kid. So Britt is sitting there, dealing with the terrifying onset of Huntington's tremors, facing a monster who holds the literal cure, or at least the treatment to her terminal illness, and she cannot give him what he wants because she doesn't know. The dichotomy of her situation is just... Wait, is dichotomy the right word? The juxtaposition? Whatever. The sheer helplessness of it is staggering. She is trapped in an information deficit while her body is actively betraying her. And Cullum's cruelty is just off the charts here. He's not threatening to kill her outright anymore. Actually, on the pier, he decided she was more trouble than she was worth, and was going to kill her. But now? Now he's realized that letting her live is a far worse punishment if he withholds the meds. He's weaponizing her own DNA against her. He's basically saying, I'm gonna let you live, Britt, but I'm gonna make you watch your own mind and body deteriorate just like your fathers would have, just like you feared your entire life. It is psychological warfare on a level that is almost too dark for daytime TV, but I am absolutely captivated by it. I'm shaking just thinking about how Kelly Tebow is going to play those scenes. The sheer panic, the desperation. But wait, let's go down a rabbit hole here. What happens when Britt does find out? Because she will. This is soap opera law. Secrets always come out. Rocco is already cracking under the pressure. The kid cut his hand during the incident, Dante is investigating the cut hand, and Rocco is eaten alive by guilt because Jason is sitting in federal WSB custody taking the fall for him. Rocco loves Britt. He looks at her as a maternal figure, a protector. there is a very, very high probability that Rocco is going to break down and confess to Britt. I think it was episode 12 or 13, somewhere around there recently, where Rocco was just looking at her with so much guilt. Probably doesn't matter, but I noticed the way the camera lingered on his face. Anyway, the point is... Wait, what was the point? Right. The point is, once Britt knows that Rocco is the shooter, the ethical dilemma shifts entirely. Right now, she's just frustrated because she literally cannot give Cullum a name. But once she has the name, once she knows it was Dante and Lulu's teenage son who pulled the trigger to save her life, she is never, ever going to give Cullum that name. Britt Westbourne has done a lot of selfish things in her past. The Bridge era was iconic for a reason, but she has evolved so much. Her love for Jason, her protective instincts over Rocco, she will choose to suffer the Huntington's decline before she hands a teenager over to a corrupt WSB director. She will literally sacrifice her own brain to save that kid. And that realization, that she is going to have to accept her terminal fate to protect Rocco, it's going to break her. And it's going to break me. I am already crying into my keyboard. Okay, I know I just said the opposite, but hear me out. What if Britt tries to play Cullum? Like, what if she makes up a name? No, that wouldn't work. Cullum is too smart. He'd verify it. He'd probably demand proof. And he has Pascal sniffing around Windermere, channeling his Marco grief into murderous rage. So Britt is isolated. Jason is gone, extradited by Brennan and the WSB. Marco is dead. Lucas is drowning in grief and currently trapped at Windermere with Pascal. Brad, well, Britt slapped Brad across the face recently because he offended her, so their dynamic is messy right now. Britt is entirely alone with this disease creeping up her spine. The tremors are just the beginning. And we have to talk about Cassius Faison, Fake Nathan. He is managing this massive cover-up from inside the PCPD. Cassius knows Rocco is the shooter. He's the one who orchestrated the whole Jason takes the fall narrative on the pier before Dante even arrived. Cassius just delivered a warning to Britt that Sidwell wants her dealt with. But does Cassius know about the ultimatum Cullum is giving her? If Cassius finds out that Britt is being denied her medication, will he step in? He is her brother, technically. He's a Faison. But he's also deeply embedded in his own charade with Lulu. If he helps Britt, he risks exposing the Rocco secret, which ruins his bond with Lulu. It's a massive web of competing interests. Everyone is protecting Rocco, but Britt is the one paying the physical price. It's weird. Like, really weird. The whole thing is just weird. Why is Cullum so obsessed with finding the shooter if he's already got Jason on the hook? Jason is the perfect scapegoat. The WSB hates Jason. Cullum could just let Jason rot in Steinmauer or wherever they took him and move on with the Cold Fusion prototype. But Cullum's ego is bruised. He got shot by a kid. Actually, wait, he doesn't know it was a kid. He just knows he got bested. And for a guy who carries Faison's novel in his jacket and smokes his cigarillos, getting shot in the back is an insult he cannot let go. He needs to assert dominance over Britt. The medication isn't just leverage for information. It's a leash. He is treating her like a dog. Beg for your medicine. It makes me sick to my stomach. Let's talk about the tremors again because I can't stop thinking about the physical acting required for this. Britt has spent years running from this diagnosis. She went to Canada, she tried to ignore it, she finally faced it, and then she was forced into this underground lab to reverse engineer her own cure. And now, to have it snatched away, to feel her hands shaking, knowing that every tremor is a dying neuron. It's a horror story. It's straight up psychological horror. And Jason isn't there to hold her hand. Jason, who promised to take her to Canada, who promised to protect her, he's gone. He sacrificed himself for Rocco, which is noble and very Jason-esque, but it leaves Britt completely defenseless against her own biology. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe Britt will find a way to synthesize the drug herself? But she doesn't have the lab access anymore. She's at the hospital, trying to work, trying to pretend she's fine, while her body fails her, and Dante is sniffing around. Dante is grilling Lulu about Rocco's cut hand. If Dante figures out the truth, the whole house of cards collapses. But Dante is a cop. He's rigid. If he finds out his son shot a federal agent, what does he do? Does he arrest his own kid? Does he let Jason take the fall? Britt has to navigate all of this while her brain is literally under attack by a genetic curse. I mean, basically, the April 7 episode is going to be a bloodbath of emotions. Cullum is going to sit there in his ICU bed, probably looking smug despite being hooked up to monitors, and he's going to tell Britt that her life is over unless she talks. And she's going to realize that even if she learns the truth, she can never speak it. She is going to have to look the devil in the eye and accept her own slow, agonizing death to protect a child. It's a tragic, beautiful, horrific character arc. I hate it. I love it. I need to go to sleep, but I can't, because what if I missed a clue? What if Marco left a note? What if, anyway? My brain is fried. Britt Westbourne deserves better, but man, this is good television.